What's up, y'all? Manny Carrera, your real estate resource, and this is episode number 16 of Whiskey Wednesday podcast sessions, where we sit with entrepreneurs, influencers, movers, and shakers over a glass of some fine whiskey. Today, my friends, we're going to be drinking the Yamasaki single malt Japanese whiskey. We're going to kick it international today. This is a 12-year whiskey. It's actually pretty delicious. I'm going to be asking my guest what he thinks about this as well. And today, I'm going to be sitting with my special guest. Now, this guy is a social media digital marketing guru. He's a mastermind and he's also an entrepreneur. He runs a lot of very popular social media pages here in El Paso with my special guest, Alex Lavish Olivas. How are you, brother? Cheers. Welcome to the show. How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Yeah? You excited?
How are you, man?
Cool, man. So we're sipping on some new stuff. I've never actually tried a Japanese whiskey. What do you think about this, the Yamasaki?
It's actually pretty good. It's pretty smooth.
Yeah. Are you a whiskey drinker?
Occasionally.
Occasionally?
Yeah, this is actually like really good. Honestly.
Yeah. So this was actually recommended by one of the employees here at Vitolas, and it's actually pretty good. It's kind of a mix between, I would say, smooth, fiery, sweet. Yeah, it's pretty good. So cool, man. Welcome to the show. Really excited to have you on. You're probably, I think for sure, our youngest guest.
Oh, really?
You're 21 years old, right?
21, yeah.
Awesome, bro. So before we get into it, I'd like to just pass it over to you. Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and dive in.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Alex, and I'm 21. I was born and raised here in El Paso all my life.
Nice.
And pretty much, I started my whole entrepreneurship journey like, I guess, high school when I was like around 17, 18. And yeah, right now, I run a digital marketing company called El Paso Best here locally. So
that's cool. And that's actually the page, right? That's the ID page.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, you're 21, you're still young. It seems like probably high school was what, like 3 years ago?
Yeah, about 3 years ago more.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah.
Your entrepreneurial background or interest started back in high school, you said, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of got you into that direction?
Yeah, so pretty much like my story, like from when I was in high school, I would apply like to a bunch of scholarships and I would just like go all out because my mom's a teacher, so I kind of college was always like really enforced and so
very traditional.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, you gotta go to school, get good grades,
exactly.
Go to college.
So like it was like no option, like to not go. So yeah, I was like, I'm the type of guy that's like always like has to go all out. So
right.
I remember I would stay like till like 4 a.m, like just like filling up like scholarship applications and just like a bunch like national applications, and I actually got like a good amount of scholarships and yeah, I pretty much had school paid for, and so I think it was senior year I went and I already had school paid for, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do.
Right.
Okay, like I'm gonna go to school.
You're just doing it because of the pressure.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, you just got out of high school. You started playing.
So okay, I'm gonna start going to school. What am I gonna do? I remember going to the library at Austin High School, which was where I went to high school.
Shout out Austin.
Yeah, oh yeah. but yeah, I went into the library and I searched like, okay, what's the highest paying job here, like in the U.S. And because in my mindset I was like, okay, it sounds cliche, but you only live once, so might as well be at the top,
Right.
And I could do it.
Like, who's the 1%?
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I searched like, okay, what's the top career? And I remember seeing that it was like anesthesiologist, and they get paid like 200, 300 grand a year. So I was like, okay, so that's the highest paying. I'm gonna be that. And at that time I just wanted to be it because it was at the top. So I remember that.
You were 18.
Yeah, I was about 18. About to go into high school. Into college.
College, right?
And I remember that summer I went to a camp here at Texas Tech for medical school, and I went and I was trying to take it serious and everything. But during that time I was also like doing research online and instead of like just watching videos or being on Netflix, I would like actually like see like, okay, how can I make money online, or how can I do this? So that was kind of like the turning point for me, because that's where I started like actually like finding out about like people like our age, even younger, like 16-year-olds making like a crazy amount of money online. You know,
fucking
like,
insane, right?
Yeah,
it's like it's a whole new world that we're living
exactly.
in right now. You know,
yeah, you know, like a 16-year-old making the same as a doctor. You know.
Off of their YouTube channel,
okay, or
insane.
their Shopify store, or whatever it is, and you know, like making $250,000 and probably doing like a tenth of the work as of a doctor, you know. And don't get me wrong, like to be at that level, it's still a lot of work, it's still a lot of like dedication, but you know, it's just it's all about like I guess like finding smart ways to do it, you know.
Right, and definitely using your time a lot smarter than
exactly.
working so much, you know.
Yeah.
Which is very traditional. I mean, my dad too. I mean, my dad works hard, bro. Like my dad fucking works hard, and that's what he really instilled in me growing up. Is you have to work hard. You know, it doesn't matter if you're working at a gas station or whatever you're doing. You have to show up to work. You can't complain. Exactly. You can't, you know. And that hard work was always instilled in me. But growing up and seeing how the world has changed, I realized too, like. There's a lot smarter ways of doing things with a lot less effort, you know.
Exactly.
So you started applying in high school. You went to Texas Tech to do that whole
like,
anesthesiology.
It was like a camp, and I mean, it was like it was like kind of like not what I loved, you know.
Right.
So even when I was little, like I remember I always used to be amazed by just how like we could connect with the whole world just like off like a little phone, you know, like it's like so small, but you could connect with the whole world, you know.
Yeah, you could talk to somebody in freaking Africa if you wanted.
Yeah,
to.
When I was young and like the whole like internet and like the whole like cell phone concept was barely coming out, like it was just like pretty amazing to me. So that's kind of what I liked. Then I started following these you know, like noticing these guys on YouTube, on you know, like Facebook, you know, making so much money, and I was like, wow, like there's a lot of opportunity out there. So you know, like I started doing more research. And one day I came across this guy. He's pretty much a millionaire, and all he does is post on Instagram.
Who is this guy?
This guy, his name is Anthony Carboni, and he goes by Wolf Millionaire, and he has a bunch of car pages on Instagram.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean he does really well. And I actually back in the day, I actually like bought his course, and you know, I went through it, and because if you think about it, like back in the day, I mean, still now, like a lot of people just view Instagram as like, okay, it's a social media. I'm gonna post my outfit.
Right.
I'm gonna, you know,
what I'm eating and what I eat and shit.
Exactly. So I mean, and that's fine, but like Instagram, especially right now, is like a huge like powerhouse. You know, just because it's like, you know, I've actually tested, you know, Facebook. I've tested Twitter. I've tested like Snapchat. And I found out, you know, just sticking with Instagram is...
I feel, me personally too, like I've said this on a past podcast, that I feel Instagram is really leading it right now with social media, just because they've incorporated everything that Snapchat has, everything that Twitter has, everything that you know, Facebook has.
Now they're even doing what YouTube has with IGTV.
Yeah. So it's insane. You know, they're creating their own brand and their own Google in terms.
Yeah,
you know?
honestly, and yeah, it's just exploding. You know, it's just the most like you know, like has the most active users right now, and I mean Facebook as well. But you know, it's just really, you know, growing really fast. And so yeah, I found out that was, you know, like that's like. Instead of kind of being a jack of all trades, I was going to be a master of one. So I actually like focused on Instagram and just kind of you know, took that guy's training, that guy's course, and just kind of went through it, and I implemented my own like actual like my own strategies and things like that as I went. Yeah. So when I started off, I actually had this. I had these two fashion pages. I had a women's fashion page and I had a men's fashion page, and I was going to concentrate on both and start expanding them. But I decided to concentrate more on the men's fashion page, and you know,
was your demographic more men than female?
Yeah, and I guess it was just kind of my interest too. Obviously, like, you know, like like you know, like men's fashion, things like that,
mm-hmm.
Just different outfits.
Right.
So I concentrated on that one, and you know, I grew it to, I think it was right now to about like 400K, and you know, I started getting like brand deals with like international like clothing companies. You know, just kind of shooting me like saying like, hey, I'll pay you this amount so you could post these amount of posts. And it was kind of like a daily thing where I would just have like revenue coming in just leveraging that like page I created.
Right.
And you know, I could just be anywhere pretty much. I would just have to do a post and you know just get paid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
instead of you posting food, you were just posting
exactly
a brand or somebody's clothing line and getting paid.
Exactly. And I actually like managed it where every single post that I would post was a paid post. So I kind of curated the whole page into being kind of like a magazine style.
Okay.
And yeah, like I just grew my following, and like every single post that I would post on the page was paid for. So by like some kind of a outside company, like clothing kind of company.
Okay.
So it was.
So I feel like a lot of people don't really understand what it is you do, or how that works. And before we dive into that, you know, going back to your story, talking about you going to school, you were doing that at Texas Tech. What was it?
Yeah, it was like a camp, like a
little
summer
camp.
Yeah.
And you realized that that's not what you love. So, at what point did you leave school, or did you kind of ditch that and go all in into this social media thing?
So, pretty much like 2 years into college, you know, like I said, I had everything pretty much paid for, like with scholarships and grants that I got. And you know, I had everything paid for, and I would even get a return. You know, like you know, a couple $1,000s a semester return. So I would essentially get paid for going to school.
Yeah, which is always fun.
Yeah,
for those
exactly.
that get to take advantage of that.
Yeah,
I always had to pay for school.
Yeah. So I would get paid to go to school, and you know, I had good grades and everything. But you know, it was just like at that point, you know, when I was like already into college, I really wanted to be an entrepreneur just because of what I had discovered. So it was really what I wanted. I wanted to have my own business. So I actually went to school for like business management with a concentration in entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I went, and you know, I was already like, because I took classes in high school, and so I was already kind of like a junior in college. So I just kind of needed like, you know, like not that many credits to you know, graduate.
Right.
Yeah, but I just kind of found out like, okay, these guys are just kind of training me just to like, you know, get hired, like to be in the system, to find like, you know, internships, stuff like that. And I mean, that's okay for somebody that wants to do that, but you know, at that point, that's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, you wanted to have your own.
Yeah, exactly. And I already had my own thing going on, so I was just like, you know, this is going good. Like, what do I need in order to scale it? And you know, I thought about it. It's not really money that I need. It's not anything. It's time. So once like I, you know, like I kind of found that out. Like, okay, it's time that I need. I'm going to school. And see, I'm not really the type to like kind of half-ass stuff, you know, like.
You gotta go full.
Yeah, so like I told my mom about the idea, like, hey, I'm gonna drop out. Like, she's like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, don't drop out.
Yeah.
You know, at least like go to school. Like, she saw that like I was doing good for myself and stuff like that, and so she was like, no, like, you know, you still gotta. What if something happens? You still gotta have like a degree.
Yeah.
So she was like, just go to school and like.
Do you think there was a lot of uncertainty on her end whether this was gonna work or not? Just because. I think also, you know, the generational thing.
Yeah.
That, you know, those generations, like my parents too, they're barely getting understanding social media. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very underrated, especially for even our generation. People in our generation really don't understand how powerful it is, like you said, you know, posting their outfit when they could actually be
making
a business out of
exactly.
it.
So yeah, I mean, like she would, I guess, just like, you know, like continue to tell me like, you know, like and even to this day she's like, yeah, you should probably like do it, but just in her mind, I guess it's like that, like you said, uncertain, like she's not certain that you know, she just wants the best. But you know, see, like my mindset is like I don't want to have something to like fall back on, like oh, if I get a degree, like I'm gonna be like, well, I never know, like I want to focus on my business, but then have that thing like, oh, it's okay if I don't make it because I have a degree or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? So I have.
You didn't want to have that plan
exactly.
B. Plan A was had to work. You know.
My mindset is like, okay, I'm gonna make this work no matter what. You know, I have nothing to fall back on, and I know I can make it work.
And you're young too. I mean, that alone gives you so much opportunity. Anybody opportunity. You know, just because you have time to really fuck up.
Yeah.
You do have time. I mean, but the good thing is that it seems like you've already kind of figured out what you love. And kind of went all in with it. At what point, going to school and then ended up, you know, having that conversation with your mom, where were you in your social media digital marketing business? Where was that at that point for you to take that leap and go all in?
So I was already like, I was like, you mean like follower wise or like financially wise?
Well,
or?
financially, one, because I think if in your mindset you're making enough money for
Yeah.
you to do the stuff that you want to do and pay your bills and stuff,
Yeah.
then that's enough for you to take
Exactly.
that. So where were you financially, and where were you business wise? Like, how many accounts did you have, and where were you as far as followers?
I had about like maybe 8 accounts, and follower wise I was maybe like at across like, you know, 500,000, no, probably more. I was like around 600,000 more or less. And you know, like that's when I was kind of just like making like constant revenue off like every single day. Like, you know, I would get paid like via PayPal for some kind of promotion on one of my pages or something like that. So it was just like, you know, sometimes I would get like, you know, like, oh, let's do this package deal for, you know, $1,000 or something. Or so I just kind of saw the potential of it, and once I started seeing that, like I was like, okay, like I could definitely like scale this up.
Yeah.
You know, I just kind of need the time and just kind of focusing on this, and then that's kind of what I will scale, because I used to just do like internationally. Now like I kind of now I kind of saw here in Paso, like I kind of saw like a gap in the market when it came to like Instagram, just overall like
Right.
business. So I was like, wow, like there's a huge gap, you know, like there's like, you know, like a lot of people don't have that, you know, exposure that they could be having if they kind of knew the power behind it.
Right.
So
what type of clients are you getting right now? You talked about international clients.
Yeah.
Now you kind of saw that opportunity here locally.
Yeah. So now I'm focusing kind of like on local clients, getting mostly like, you know, restaurants, because, you know, I've kind of tested also different kinds of businesses on Instagram, and I mean, I could help any business out to like, you know, definitely increase like revenue through Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's always those like better, just kind of more like eye candy like restaurants,
Right.
or like, you know, like maybe even like events, salons, things like that, or you know, even a gym,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like does well on Instagram. So it just kind of depends on what really what it is. But at the end of the day, I could like I said, I could really like try to come up with a marketing campaign for like,
Right.
even if it's like a, you know, like a roofing company or a construction company, just kind of come up with a game plan that will work on Instagram, because that's where all the traffic is right now.
Right. So as far as marketing, these marketing plans are directed specifically to the type of business that you're working with, right?
Yeah.
What I know you have an example, or you have an actual
Yeah.
marketing plan that you use, right? So kind of go through us as far as how your marketing plan works, how your business works, and how it does help businesses, you know?
Yes, so I pretty much, you know, my company, El Paso Best, you know, we have 3 accounts: El Paso Best, EOP Mag, and El Paso Official. And we do have like over 150,000 followers. And pretty much what we do is we go, you know, like I go to like, we do like nominations, like we do via like email list, via, you know, like people send us DMs all the time, or via like also like my website.
Mm-hmm.
People nominate like the best businesses, things like that, and we actually like go up to the business and tell them like, hey, you got nominated for, you know, like best pizza or whatever it is, and you know, we feature them, and you know, we do provide like exclusivity as well.
Awesome.
To where we don't you know, use competitors or things like that. So yeah, and you know, just kind of also put them on the social media, but also our website, kind of detail on how, like, why they're the best in El Paso, and you know, just letting the people know like, hey, you know, they're the best because of these reasons why, and yeah, just pretty much gaining more exposure, more business, because there's like some really good like businesses out there in El Paso, obviously.
Right.
Like,
Now, are these followers that you have on these pages, are they local, or what?
Yeah.
What kind of followers do you
so
have?
these
on
are,
pages?
you know, these are local. The other accounts I have, like Fashion Board and things like that, those are international. But these I've actually target followed and like curated the pages to being like local followers.
Awesome.
And just like, you know, it's obviously like whatever page it is, I try to get like a following around the niche. So it just depends what it is.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the marketing plan, obviously you have it structured directly for businesses. As far as the clientele that you're getting, you're focusing more on a lot of local a lot of local clients, right? How do you help them get followers aside from just posting? Is there any back end work that you do, like as far as lead generation or landing pages, things like that?
Yeah, so I actually provide a service as well. Other than, aside from El Paso Best, which is mostly like a marketing platform for them, I also provide like Instagram growth management, which like the client, they kind of focus on just like they could just be posting whatever they have to post, but I focus on getting their followers up, and those followers are going to be like targeted local followers around their like niche, like from their competitors, things like that, just to get them more, like I said, like more business and things like that. I also do that, then I also do like consulting for Instagram, which is like kind of, a lot of people might have a lot of followers, but their content's not the best.
Right.
Because Instagram's a whole thing, you have to have good content and you have to have a good following. Because if you have like really good content, but your followings might not be the best, like you don't have that much exposure, you're kind of missing out. And vice versa, if you're kind of, maybe you somehow got a lot of followers or something, and your content is not the best, you're probably going to lose interest in your audience.
Right.
So it's kind of like a whole formula, and I do like consulting as well, and also I do management for specifically targeted growth as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how do you kind of stay on top of Instagram? Because my marketing team, I know that we're always on Instagram. We're always trying to learn and be ahead of it, because Instagram is always changing. There's always updates. There's always changes in their algorithms and how things work. So how do you stay on top of that and keep your business, where it needs to be?
So I think definitely like consistency is pretty much key. Just like the way the algorithm works, being consistent, like posting every day, even if like stories, and like also going live is really good. Just kind of being like engaged with your whole like following. That way they they kind of gain interest in you, and you don't get like the ghost followers, all that. So it's just kind of like a whole, like being consistent, and I guess like also kind of keeping up with just doing research towards like how the algorithm's working or any other updates, because sometimes Instagram does like pretty big updates that you might not be like familiarized with. So it's kind of like
I know IGTV fucking shook the world.
Yeah.
It shook me. I woke up like it was Christmas. I was like, holy shit, Sosa's like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? Like, It was exciting, bro. It was really exciting. But just these innovations are just so crazy with social media, with the direction that it's been heading for the last 8 years. You talked about seeing and growing up to the first cell phones and all that. And I actually remember in 8th grade, I got my first cell phone. I was like the only kid in middle school with a fucking cell phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this is when cell phones like already had Snake on it.
Yeah.
And I was like the only kid, with
those Nokias, the big bricks.
It was actually it was a Samsung. It was a pretty cool little Samsung.
Yeah.
But I remember texting wasn't even cool until I think summer of my 8th grade year. That's when everybody got into texting, and it was really like a hey, or you know. But seeing the evolution, seeing how it's transformed, where do you see social media going in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah. So now that you mentioned that, like a reason why I got into social media is because I do see like, it's a feature, like as our generation, we should be taking advantage of like, like you said, like you grew up with, like the cell phones and everything, and you've been seeing the process. So you should take advantage of that, like experience, and kind of use it to like, to your advantage, and be maybe helping other businesses out with that, things like that, because a lot of business owners might not be like the most like tech savvy or just on social media in general.
Right.
So you could definitely use that to your advantage, and kind of like help them out in that sense, and I think it's just gonna just keep growing, especially Instagram. I don't really see it like going down, or another like social media taking it down very soon, just because it's growing so fast. There's, like you said, there's new updates added to it like every once in a while. So it's just like I really do see it growing a lot, and like if you're getting it right now, you already have an edge over like other people that will get in it later.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think it actually excites me when my podcast interviews not only are entrepreneurs and doing some big stuff, but socially they get it, you know, on social media.
Yeah.
Our next guest actually is a business owner for a women's clothing store.
Okay.
And since she started, I've been following her on social media, and she gets it. I mean, the stories, consistency, you know, a lot of good content, always mixing it up. And I think for businesses right now, especially in this day and age, it's important to really understand social media. How does a page like yours, an influencer page like yours, because that's, I guess, the category that you kind of put it in.
Okay.
How does an influencer page like yours play a role in helping a business build their brand, aside from just getting the followers and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty much just like kind of like you said, like you follow that girl, like you follow her through all her journey. So there's a lot of people out there that are following somebody in social media, and maybe they might not message him or something, but they like look up to him, like, oh wow, they're doing like, you know, they're doing good, or oh wow, they're in shape, oh wow, they're like, you know, they have a nice car or a nice house, or they kind of look up to them. So, you know, slowly they're kind of, you know, just kind of like they're influencing people. You know, like a lot of people are out there, have like a large following, and they're influencing a lot of people without even knowing it.
Right.
So when somebody does like a brand deal with like one of those influencers, you know, they're not only like putting their content out there, they're like influencing the people. Like, you know, like I'm at this stage in life, or I'm like, you know, I'm kind of where you want to be, and I'm using this product. So, you know, maybe if you use this product, you know, like you could also like get that advantage, or get to where you want to be. If you kind of think about like kind of like, you know, like celebrities or rappers or anything, you know, they're wearing the, you know, like designer everything, or like they're wearing Supreme, Gucci, all
they're
that.
drinking Topo Chico.
Yeah.
That's a plug.
You know, they're wearing all those designer brands, and you know, people look at them in social media, they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And you know, they might not be them, like they might want to be with like them, but you know, they're not
at that level.
They're not at that level yet, but then like, you know, they buy that Supreme
the
stuff
products and
just to kind of feel like them. It's just kind of like, okay, like, you know, I'm as cool as they are, like they're wearing that too, you know.
And that's just the world we live in, you know. The influencer.
It's the way it works.
That's how commercials. I mean, I've been brainwashing people for the last 30 years. You know, it's just like, it's true. I mean, you see the products, you see this shit's gonna make you look prettier if you wear this or you do this, and you're not the prettiest, but you're like, oh, well, I'm gonna feel pretty if I buy that product. And it's the same thing, you know, with influencer marketing. I think it's just insane where we're at. You know, it's not so much on TV anymore. And you talked about it too. You're 18 years old, and instead of watching Netflix and things like that, you were out here Googling and researching how you can actually make money on social media, right?
Yeah.
What advice do you have for that entrepreneur that is, you know, doing something right now that they don't love, going through that kind of traditional routine that you went through? You know, I think it's crazy because you grew up with your mom being a teacher and really enforcing the education system down your throat, you know? A lot of people that have taken your path haven't grown up with that influence, you know, the parents being teachers and really, really shoving it down their throat.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was a lot of pressure even for you as a student, just like, oh, my mom's a teacher, I can't fuck up, you know? So what advice do you have for somebody that is in that position right now that, you know, doesn't like to go to school or is doing something that they don't love? They're 18, they're 19, they're trying to figure it out, and they feel that pressure right now from their parents. What advice do you have for them?
So pretty much like my advice would be kind of try to discover what you actually like love to do, because a lot of people, the thing with entrepreneurship is like you can kind of do whatever you want, and if you want to, you can make it work. Like if you're creative enough, like let's say you really love to paint, you know, or you like art, or you know, you like to sing, or whatever it is, if you follow through it, you can kind of do whatever you want. When you go through the traditional like system of going to school, you know, a lot of times, even though it's something that you more or less want, you kind of have to go through that, you know, like listen to others and kind of have to go through that, like, you know, a whole process and just being told what to do. As an entrepreneur, you can kind of do whatever you want. However, it's up to you to make it work. Like, as human beings, we kind of, you know, we're like lazy people, and we just kind of, you know, like if it's up to us, it's like would you rather watch
the
like
next day.
yeah exactly
Shit.
procrastinate like would you rather watch Netflix or do your homework? You know, it's like like I'm gonna just watch Netflix. Yeah, but it's those people that are successful are the ones that kind of like know that like okay like even though you know like we're programmed to be lazy, like no, I'm gonna you know get up and do what it needs to get done.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
Think, you know?
So those people that like are willing to do that, like push that forward, like okay, I'm gonna push my laziness aside, or and I'm gonna get this work done. And it's just all about taking action. So if, you know if you're somewhere you know right now in college or something like that, and you really don't want to, you have you know other goals or you have other ideas. I mean, kind of. I wouldn't say just toss everything right away, but kind of be working on it on the side. Like put your idea and take it into action, like on the side. You know, like when you get out of school, work on your business, and little by little you like start like you know making it work and stuff like that, and you know just balancing. And once you get to like the level that you're like okay, like this is really working and it's what I love. Like now you have to like you know like drop school like to kind of focus on what you love and make things work. So that's kind of like what I kind of suggest. Just kind of take action. I've read like you know books and I found like a lot of books from like you know like entrepreneurs, millionaires, and a lot of us say that it's like a two-step formula to be successful. It's taking action and being persistent. Once you take action in something and you're persistent with it, you're bound to succeed. Because a lot of people they say, oh, I want to do this, but they never take action. Yeah. Or a lot of people, you know, they start, they fail, they're like, oh, forget about it. Like it didn't work. It's tough. Yeah, it's tough. Or you know, and it's those people that actually take action and you know get started grinding, and you know they're even though they fail so many times, they keep on going. Just keep going. They're going to be bound to be successful no matter what. Like I guess my number one advice is just take action, and you know like don't quit. Just kind of like tweak it out, even though it's not working. Because you know like me, like when I started, like everything was not working perfectly. You know, you had to do some tweaks.
I'm sure you went through a phase where you were just really testing. More than seeing the wins. You were testing more than anything, right?
It's all about like you know, like just taking action, testing, you know, making it work, and kind of putting your mindset like, okay, I'm gonna make it work no matter what, because this is what I really love to do. And you know, you have that passion, and you know, you have that persistence, like you're gonna make it work. It's just like I said, just you know, once you get out of school or once you get out of your work, like take action on whatever you want to do, and you know, you're just bound to be successful like one day. Mm-hmm.
That's huge, man. I think a lot has to do with patience too. You know, just like you said, one day. I think in anything that you go after and you really are passionate about, as long as you don't quit, there's no way for you to fail. You know, so going to what you said, I mean, that's just hitting the fucking nail on the head. You know, it really just comes down to if you want to do something in life, you just have to fucking do it. Stop talking. And there is a lot of people that have a lot of great ideas and a lot of great desires and passions, and they want to do so much, but then they're fucking watching 6 hours of The Office on Netflix. You know
how many, like, think about this, like, you know how many people came into like this life and you know they had like $1 billion idea, or they had like a, you know, maybe like a revolutionary idea, but then they never took action, so they died with the idea.
They died with that idea. And what happened, somebody else made it happen.
Yeah, exactly. Or like,
I think ideas, I read somewhere that ideas are universal. Everybody has pretty much the same ideas, the same thoughts, the same problems. Oh, I wish there was a solution for this. Oh, I wish it would just, you know, everybody goes through the same shit, but it's those people that actually fucking take action and do it, you know? Execute. They're the ones that you see on Shark Tank. They're the ones that you see and read about on Forbes. They're the ones that are sitting here on Whiskey Wednesday podcast sessions, you know? And it's cool because you are young. I mean, I know I'm probably making you feel like a baby, but you're just fucking young, bro. Like 21 years old, my mentality wasn't even there. You know, at 21 years old, 22 years old, I was probably working at Verizon, and Sosa was barely getting me into like social self-development books, and that's when I started learning about entrepreneurship. You've already figured that out when you were 18, you know, or even before that. So to grow up in the world that we're growing up in right now, I think there is so much opportunity. You do only have one life, and for the people that are watching or going through, you know, one of those situations, because I went through that too, even though my parents weren't in the education system, they shoved going to college down my throat, and I only went to college. I went to college for fucking 3 years, And I hated every fucking semester of it. You know, I went and I was fucking failing, dropping classes, because I was like, I don't want to be here, but I'm only coming because mom fucking is going to be super upset, you know?
Right.
And it wasn't until I hit that point where I don't have to be working for somebody or going to school or somebody telling me what to do in order for me to create a life that I want, you know? And that's where you're kind of at too. So props to you, man. Cheers to you. I wish you a lot of success in your business. What is next for you? What is next for Lavish? What is next for Alex in this business? You know? Yeah,
right now, so pretty much like before anything, like I was kind of trying to concentrate mostly like on my companies, like Fashion Born, El Paso Best, like all my companies, instead of kind of like focusing on like my personal brand, because I was like, nah, like I want to grow my companies first, and it doesn't, I don't really care like about like my personal brand, but now it's like now like I see the power in personal brands, like actually like growing your personal brand and just kind of like being like a mentor to others and helping others out and things like that. So right now I'm actually trying to grow my personal brand, and I'm actually going to be releasing a course soon on like Instagram as well.
That's bad.
So yeah, it's kind of like one of the main things that I see, and that I'm trying to do actually, and just kind of like grow my personal brand, and just kind of teach people what I did, and just help people out, like my age, even younger, older, it doesn't matter, like whatever stage you're in life, like there's always like something you can do to like make.
There's always opportunity.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That's cool, man. That's cool. I think that's really huge, especially in social media, using that presence. You're following. You have a crazy amount of following. Where can people find you on social media, on Instagram?
Yeah, so on Instagram, on my personal, it's at LVVISH. And you could also follow my business account, which is El Paso.best. And yeah, I have a couple of them.
How many followers do you got right now on El Paso Best?
Paso Best. Well, we're shooting to get the 100K probably like within this month. Yeah.
100K. We can get to 10K. Let's get to 10K. I'm not looking at the socials right now. But that's insane, bro. That's fucking insane. And that's just one of your accounts, right?
Yeah.
Which is your account that has the most followers right now?
Probably right now, Fashion Born. It's around 400K.
400K.
Yeah, 400K. But I want to grow it up to probably 500,000.
That's your international.
Yeah, so that's one of the ones that I use, like international. I have a couple other ones, but yeah, that's like kind of one of my main ones that I used to like grow and things like that. And I want to grow it, keep on growing, and grow my other pages as well.
Who's been your biggest account or client so far? Maybe you don't have to mention their business name if you don't want to, but as far as maybe monetary, or what's the most you've made per post?
What's the most I've made?
Yeah, on a single post.
On a single post?
Just out of curiosity, I'm super curious.
Yeah. I mean, usually I would do like on Fashion Born, like the most I've made is probably like out of one post is, I think it was 500, and 500? It was a post and a story combo, and I made that off one post. Then one day I had like a $2,000 day just off like a few packages, and I had good days, and obviously with business I've had slower days, good days.
Yeah, just like any business.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back 5 years? And going back 5 years for you, you're 17 years old, 16 years old. That's fucking sick.
I mean, maybe it would just be kind of I guess sticking to one thing would be my best advice, because back then I was kind of also trying to experiment with like, okay, I would be on Instagram, then I also had like a Shopify store. I would see people like since I would do a lot of research, like every time I saw like a video of somebody doing it, I would like replicate it into like a business. So I had like maybe like 5-6 businesses running at once.
Okay.
Like Shopify store, like an eBay dropshipping store.
What were you selling on these stores?
So for Shopify, I used to sell I used to dropship like a certain like phone case, and it was like a special phone case, like it would stick to anywhere, and it had like little suction cups, and I remember I did like a promotional video on it and everything, and it would do pretty well. Then on eBay, like drop shipping, I would like literally like get other items from other stores, and I would just like place them. So I would never have to hold inventory, like
People would
from
order
Amazon or Walmart.
Drop
or
shipping
anything.
is what you're talking about.
And boom, and it's like it's cool because it's like automated in a sense, and you don't have to hold inventory. You don't take losses because you pretty much put the items for sale. If they sell, then that's where you kind of like you tell the supplier, okay, ship it to them, so they just ship it to them. It's just
It's the most insane fucking business model I've ever fucking like. All you need is a website.
Yeah, you just need a website, then just kind of find like products that are selling. You just put them on your store. And people like go and they buy it. You just keep the profit and you just sell it, and you never keep inventory. So it's a really good business model. Like I made money.
Yeah. So how would you compare that to looking back 10 years ago when this didn't exist? Did drop? Fuck, I don't even know.
Drop
did it
shipping?
exist? This is new, right? Because
it's rather new. It's not too new, but it's rather new. When Shopify, all the e-commerce like stores started coming out. Like I guess somebody just came up with the idea, and it became a pretty big concept, and a lot of people do it like worldwide.
How big of an advantage do you feel people have right now, even something like that? Because I think one of the biggest issues for a lot of businesses is overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Having the retail, having the inventory, having to have all that stuff on hand in order for you to ship.
Yeah, that's another thing I was going to tell you. Like, a lot of people like they hear like, oh, like if I tell them like, oh, hey, you should start a business, they think like, oh, I don't have money, or oh, I don't have, I don't know how to do it, or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of these businesses, you don't even have to have a lot of money. Like, you can literally start with $100 or less and make a successful business. It's just like the way you set it up, the grind and everything.
Finding what works too.
Exactly. With $100, you can set up a Shopify store or even an eBay store and just get products from another supplier, put them on your store. On eBay you don't have to run ads. You could run ads on your Shopify store, but it's still like very minimal to start off, and once you start getting the profit, you just use it back to your store for ads and stuff.
So there's no excuse.
There's really no excuse, honestly, because you could start a store with like $50, honestly, and make it work for sure. Like I've done it before. Like when I was starting like drop shipping, I remember I started with like I think it's like $30 for the Shopify. I ran some ads. I got like a couple apps, whatever, and it was like under $100 easy, and I made it work. So it's just like actually like I said, like it goes back to just taking action.
Yeah. I think anybody in this day and age can be successful. There really isn't an excuse for, the people that aren't living to their full potential, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really about. For me, is living to your full potential, not fucking wasting time and doing shit that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die, and what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for that dude that just FaceTimed a lot, or the dude that took a lot of selfies, or the person that loved Peter Piper?
People won't even remember.
Yeah. And that's what's scary. I've talked about it on previous podcasts, and maybe this will resonate with you a little bit, because what it comes down to is, when you die, it really only takes 2 to 3 generations for you to be completely forgotten.
Erased.
Unless you're the Steve Jobs, unless you've built a legacy like that. So knowing that, it's just kind of fucking scary how fast you can be forgotten,
Honestly.
So being said that, it's like, you should take advantage. You really should take advantage of every fucking second. And nowadays, entrepreneurs or people that want to start their own business, that have a full-time job, don't understand that in order for you to start that side business or your own business with your full-time job, it's not in the time of the 9 to 5, it's the fucking 7 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. It's those hours that you're bullshitting when you should actually be reinvesting into yourself.
A lot of people, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people just get home and they're like, oh, I'm tired, I'll have a long day, so I'm gonna call it a day, watch some Netflix, drink a beer, just chill. But like I said, it's like those people that are grinding during those hours, the ones that like take action and just kind of be consistent with it, the ones that like are actually doing big things in life, and escaping that 9 to 5.
Yeah. What do your friends say about what you've done, or have there been friends that you've actually had to drop off to on the way?
Not really. I try to a lot of my friends, we actually kind of like collab into this like nightlife we're kind of like co-owners of like this like nightlife marketing company. So we go around bars and actually like promote for bars and things like that. So I mean, you know, we kind of get paid to go out and drink and stuff like that. So I mean, but like my friends are like, you know, they do tell me like, oh, like you know, props to what you're doing. Like a lot of them are still in school or you know, they're not at school things, so they do see me doing something different, and you know, they do like you know, they do get like surprised like that. I'm like, you know, props. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you know, I always try to help my friends out and kind of like influence them into like you know, doing something that they love as well.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's good, bro. I mean, I wish me and my homies were doing this at 21, so that's really cool. I always like to end these kind of podcasts, you know, talking to you a little bit about El Paso. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent here. I love El Paso. There's so much growth that I've been seeing in the last couple of years, even. You know, so what are some of your favorite restaurants or places to hang out here in the city?
Like I would say I really like I guess like Asian dishes, like, you know, like noodles, like ramen. I like
love noodles too, bro.
Yeah,
you like pho?
Poker, yeah. So I like kaidama.
Poke's bomb, huh?
Yeah. So
we're probably gonna do some Uber Eats poke right now.
Yeah, that's really good. So I like all those new spots that have been opening up, and yeah. But
what about nightlife?
Nightlife. I mean, I just turned 21.
You going wild right now?
I mean, I try to keep it like mostly when I go out, it's like to do like business. You know,
yeah. That's good, bro.
Yeah. So like I don't get like too crazy or anything like that. I just try to keep it like, you know, professional. But I mean, I do like to have a good time as well. So yeah, I mean, I you know, we're at a couple like we've been at a couple like downtown, like here close by spots. You know, we've been like on the east side, like different bars and stuff like that we help promote. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. El Paso has like a really good nightlife.
That we do.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
We for sure do.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. I really enjoyed having you on the show. I think you really bring a lot of value, especially what you're doing. You know, a lot of people don't get it yet, but I think you're definitely ahead of the curve as far as your thinking too. You know, and the way you've really grown these pages into what they are and the followers that they've gotten. And to create that business model that you've created is really different. It's very outside the box. And I know a lot of, you know, big influencers are now selling stuff like that, you know. But you're using different topics, different categories to really make a big impact on you know, what you're doing.
I think that's one of the main things like that I see with a lot of businesses, like somebody tries to start a business and they just go like, oh, this business isn't gonna work just because it's a business. It's like what I think like for a business to succeed is like obviously like proper marketing, proper product, but also try to do like something a bit different, like something that nobody else is doing, because people are gonna be like, I want to go there because of that. I can't find that anywhere else.
Definitely.
If you think about like, I mean, just like a lot of concepts, like you think about like even artists, things like that. The people that are doing something different on social media, like, you know, I can name like, you know, Lil Tay, Tekashi, you know, Bad Baby, all those like they did something different. You know, like they might not be the most talented people out there, but they're doing something different, so they
stand out.
Yeah, it's entertaining and it's different. So people really like something that's different. You know, like obviously like in a good, entertaining way. If you can accomplish that, putting like a different twist into whatever business you're in, and you have like a proper product and proper marketing, you're bound to be successful.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of entrepreneurs and people that I even know like just opening businesses and just like, oh, it's gonna be successful just because it's a business and just because, you know, like people are just gonna come. You know? So I think it's like kind of like a whole formula to like make a business successful.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
And going back to what you said, I mean, the two rules in order to become successful: persistence and what was the other one?
Taking action and being
persistent. Taking action and persistence, you know, and that's really what it comes down to, and that's really what you've done, man. So props to you, bro. I'm really excited to see where your business goes, and I've heard a lot about these pages. I've actually been following some of these pages without even knowing who's behind the scenes, you know, so that's really cool. Really excited for the full episode to be coming out. This is episode number 16, so your story will be heard on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and all that good stuff. So
thank you so much.
Really excited for having you, man, and good luck to you guys. Hopefully, we'll be doing a follow-up episode.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Probably in a year, see where you guys are at. See where social media is at too. This fucking thing's a living, breathing monster. Yeah, man. But cheers to you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.